If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.
Let's go, Joe Giglio. Not Gigolo, not Giglio. Joe Giglio from New Jersey. Live on WNST.
Joe Giglio from New Jersey, live on WNST here. Happy to be here. Happy to be talking Baltimore area sports with you guys. It's become kind of a passion of mine the past few years, visiting and going to games, Oriole games, Raven game here and there. And I'm excited to be able to come on here and talk a little bit, go on WNST.net, write a little bit about it, and interact with the fans down here. And I guess we'll start with the surging Baltimore Orioles. I know dropped 2 out of 3 down in Tampa this weekend. Like Nestor was just saying, Hellickson, the young man down in Tampa, pitched a good game yesterday, and you saw the Orioles drop their first series in the Buck-Showalter era. But you got to like the direction. You have to like what's going on with the team right now, the feeling around them. Luke Scott hitting the cover off the ball, and they're coming home tonight, start a homestand against the AL West teams, one at the top and one at the bottom. You'll see the Mariners tonight. I believe it's Doug Fister against Bergeson going in this series. And yeah, I think you have to be excited for this series and for the way the Orioles are playing right now, because this is, I think the Mariners, 3-4 games still ahead of the Orioles standings-wise. But at the end of the day, I mean, one team's heading up and one team is heading down. Mariners just fired their manager, Wakamatsu. Felix Hernandez pitched yesterday, so you don't have to worry about him. Bergeson, can he build off of the start that he had last week in Cleveland? So I think today, tonight, and the next few days, interesting series. And then over the weekend, hey, I mean, last time you saw the Rangers, it was right before the All-Star break, and the Orioles played pretty well against them. Adam Jones was hitting the cover off the ball then. They hit Cliff Lee in his first start as a Ranger. Not sure if you'll see him this weekend. If you do, you're one of the only teams to have success against him this year, hitting the baseball. So the Orioles take on the Mariners this week, and then this weekend, the Rangers. 2 interesting tests. I think they should do well against the Mariners. I mean, if you don't win that series, if you don't come home and play well, it kind of takes away some of the good vibrations. And then the Rangers, hey, they're a really good team. They're going to the postseason. They are a legitimate World Series contender. You take your shots. But, the other thing with the Orioles tonight, midnight, Manny Machado, number 3 pick in the draft. It is signing day, and I really believe they got to get this done. I know they can get a compensation pick, a sandwich pick next year, and really recoup the pick that they lost if they don't sign Machado. But you get the water cooler talk going right now. You have people around here talking about the Orioles in a positive light. Keep that going. Do not let Manny Machado slip through your hands. Hey, I don't know what this guy's going to be. He may stink. He may never make it to the major leagues. But you look at the track record of high picks in the last few years, David Price and Matt Wieters, and I mean, you go on Evan Longoria, Troy Tulowitzki, you go on Ricky Romero, Brandon Morrow just struck out 17 guys last week. Top picks are making it to the big leagues faster and producing like never before, so you got to get this guy in, and maybe he is going to become a fixture here in Baltimore at shortstop. So Machado tonight, hopefully they can get that done. And the other side of things, as for football, as for the Ravens, cannot wait for Saturday night's game, cannot wait for that second preseason game against the Washington Redskins. You got to see, I mean, we'll see if Greg Madison can get that blitz going again. I love watching Zibikowski get in there and take a shot at the quarterback there. The offensive line for Washington should not be that stellar. And last year, kind of just trying to get the front four, the pressure that way. But we'll see if this year and a little more in Game 2 here, we'll see some pressure in terms of the blitz. We'll see some pressure in terms of the guys up front. Madison, we know that's not really his style, but this year, the corners, the secondary, going to be banged up early on, and if he has to get pressure that way, can the Ravens defense do that? Will they have to send a Zibikowski? Will they get a pass rush from a Paul Kruger who's put on some weight and is going to play up front? Can Terrell Suggs get out there and give you a much better season than last year? Because for a guy who got that money and a guy who has the kind of track record he does, 4.5 sacks, less than 5 sacks last year, that's not going to get it done. And the Ravens defense could be good. It could be much improved from last year, but they need to get a pass rush up front, and they need to get themselves a little protection for that banged-up secondary. And I do believe Saturday night is a good test for that. You saw the Carolina Panthers last week, and that offensive line, even with Jordan Gross, does not inspire much confidence in the Ravens. They got to the quarterback against that team, and I think you have to try to do the same thing against the Redskins. That offensive line is led by a rookie in Trent Williams. Because the days of Chris Samuel are over, and now Trent Williams, led by a young band of brothers there. We'll see if the Ravens can get to the quarterback and Donovan McNabb on Saturday night.
That is Joe Giglio of New Jersey doing his thing here. We are doing an American Idol-style competition all morning long. It is 8 o'clock. You're listening to WNST Towson, Baltimore.
If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.